Hey everybody. Today is 11/14/2019. I don't know why I said it like that, but it's November 14th, 2019. And we're going to be looking at November 13th MTG stocks. Nothing too big today. We have a couple of cards that are kind of interesting. These first two are pretty vanilla. We'll go ahead and take a look at the highest one, which is Izzet Charm. It went up to almost about 2 times its original price. Izzet Charm? I don't know if you know what the charms are. There are a ton of charms, and usually it'll kind of represent the color or colors that it kind of is showing, and it's very versatile. It doesn't mean it's always like the best choice, but if you're looking for a versatile choice, charms are pretty nice. So Izzet Charm here is 1 blue, 1 red, and it's an instant. You choose one. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. Okay. Izzet Charm deals 2 damage to target creature, and then you have draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. As you can see, all these abilities, there's a card that is much better than all these abilities, but since it's all in one card, it's pretty nice. I don't know why this would be such an expensive card. I'm guessing because I feel like I don't get too much in Modern or anything, or Legacy or any of those formats really, but I feel like Izzet was pretty powerful at one point in time. The only reason I think that is because the Izzet fetch land is the most expensive fetch land. So I could be wrong on that, but it's a powerful color combination. So maybe that's why it went up recently. But it still seems kind of weird. I don't think there's a ton of competitive play, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, I've always liked the charms. So I've always been a fan of them. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. This is Kozilek's Return. It is a 2 colorless, 1 red instant. It has devoid, so that means it doesn't actually have a color. So even though it's showing red up here, if someone said like counter target red spell, since it's devoid, does not do that. It deals 2 damage to each creature. That's pretty nice. Whenever you cast an Eldrazi creature spell with a converting cost 7 or greater, you may exile this from your graveyard. If you do, it deals 5 damage to each creature. That's pretty cool. I don't have like a ton of decks that would use Eldrazi's because I'm not a huge fan of Eldrazi's, only because I didn't quit at Eldrazi's. I thought they were kind of cool back in the day, but ever casting one was awful because like 15 mana is a lot of mana if you're playing casually, but also the Annihilator and gross. But this is a really cool card. I like that. I mean, 2 damage each creature is not bad. Instant ability, pretty good. But then also that you can bring this back and deal 5 damage with an Eldrazi creature. It's pretty solid. I know it's very situational, but I guess that's why it kind of got up a little bit more. It's not like a ton more, but it may see a little bit more rise depending on what's going on. And then, I don't know, old cards. I just they look neat. I like them. This one has other versions. This one's just the Arabian Nights versions. They reprinted it a few times, so something like too special. But we have the Rook Egg. It is a 3 colorless, 1 red. Summon Egg 0/3. If Rook Egg goes into graveyard, a Rook, a 4/4 red flying creature, comes into play on your side at the end of the turn. Use a counter to represent Rook. Rook is treated exactly like a normal creature, except that if it leaves play, it is removed from the game entirely. So I don't know when they actually started token stuff. I would guess somewhere near this time because it's funny how that would be like, it's a creature. It's like a permanent, exactly like a creature. But if it leaves play, it's gone forever. So it's kind of interesting how they worded all this because I guess they were just getting that started. But basically, when it dies at the end of your turn, make a 4/4 flying creature. I don't think this is a great card or anything, but it's still like this old art. Like it's kind of hard to see like kind of what's going on. At least initially. I mean, as you can kind of see, there's like kind of like the birdie face, sort of, and then it's still in the shape of that egg. So that's kind of like a neat. And it's a neat piece of art, for sure. Yeah, we'll go ahead and go to the next one, which this one is actually the Huichu, the lowest drop of the week, which is only 27%, but it's still quite a bit drop. This is Drafna's Restoration. It's a 1 blue sorcery. Take any number of artifacts of your choice from target player's graveyard and place them on top of that player's library in any order. I feel like this could be very interesting if you like. I was thinking about making a Grixis artifact deck. I've talked about it a couple of times, and I think this would be pretty cool. I mean, this is basically this may be better in a Golgari setting or Dredge setting because you have a few more ways to do that. But Sultai, which is basically, you know, it's green, black, blue, this could be really useful there too because you're able to mill quite a bit. I mean, I guess it's blue. You can mill quite a bit anyways. You have your own deck, and so getting a basically a tutor, more or less a tutor, it's pretty nice. Yeah, I really like this card. I don't know why it went down. It's just probably that people don't use it as much. But of course, I like the artwork as well. It's kind of weird. Just the fact that it looks like just some random building in the middle of the night. I don't know why it'd be called Drafna's Restoration. It looks, unless that's what's called the business name. Yep. I also noticed there's not even an apostrophe here. I wonder if that's a mistake. But anyways, this card keeps going down. I would probably buy it because that's a neat card. I like it in general. And then next we're gonna go into our kind of random commander of the night. This is Rafiq of the Mini. He is one of my favorite cards because I've talked about this quite a bit too. But Shards of Alara is the set that was the set for me because that's when we played with my friends a lot and we drafted it a lot. And we all loved it because Tricolor was awesome and it's awesome to draft. But anyways, he is a 1 colorless, and Bant colors are green, white, blue. Legendary creature, Human Knight, a 3/3. It has Exalted, which I think I've talked about Exalted, and I really like Exalted too. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 until the end of the turn. So if you have 5 creatures that are Exalted, Rafiq of the Mini, if you attack with him, he'd be a 3/3. And then if you have 5 creatures, including himself, having Exalted, he would get +5/+5. And then, whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains double strike until end of turn. So there's a lot of not a ton of cards, but there are quite a few cards with if you attack alone, get some sort of effect. And so this is pretty crazy because you have 5 creatures, put out Rafiq, and then now you have an 8/8 double strike, which is pretty spooky, especially in Commander. I have a Rafiq deck, and a lot of people usually go Voltron on this because that makes a lot of sense. But I am not like that for some reason, and I went what my original deck was made back when, which was a Exalted Token deck, because my idea is that if I can't kill you with 1 creature, I will kill you with many creatures. It worked out pretty okay for casual, not for tournaments or anything like that. But my EDH deck is based around that as well, where I can either go big or go wide, and it's a pretty interesting deck. I like it. I need to upgrade a little bit more, but it's still one of my favorites from the past for sure. And then I'm also going to show for the kind of my random card of the night. We have the Angelic Exaltation. This is back in just recent Ravnica set. This is basically super exalted. And I like it a lot, and I'm going to put this in my deck. I just keep forgetting to. This is a 3 colorless, 1 white enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, there's that attacks alone clause, it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. So for my deck, this is actually really good because if I have a bunch of tokens, this basically says give all your creatures exalted. That's more or less what this says. It doesn't exactly say that, but it's pretty much like that. Cool thing about exalted, by the way, is that if you have a creature that has exalted and then you have another creature that gives your creature exalted, both of those exalteds will stack. So that creature can give +2/+2, for instance. But anyways, yeah, this card is pretty neat, and you don't even have to have an exalted deck or any kind of thing like that. This card can really help you, especially if you have flyers or something, because you have a way to make tokens or anything, and then suddenly your commander comes like a +10/+10. That's pretty spooky. My friend used this in that fairy deck, the fairy commander. Get pretty spooky pretty quick. Then we're going to kind of end off tonight with our random cards as usual. So random card number 1. Nature Spiral. 1 colorless, 1 green. Sorcery. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, nothing too special, but I mean, these can always be good. There are better ones, I'm pretty sure. Like there's usually black, like a black creature or something, and they allow you to bring back a creature or permanent. I think it's just creatures from your graveyard. But I mean, these can always just be nice if, like, especially if you're doing probably more casual, mind you, commanders, where you kind of like that one combo piece you really need to always have or want to have, and it gets discarded or something like that. This would be a good way to bring it back. But I don't think it's amazing by any means. Go ahead and go for random card number 2, something more exciting. Yeah, it works. So this is back in Ravnica as well. This is Awaken the Erstwhile. This is a 3 colorless, 2 black sorcery. Each player discards all cards in their hand, then creates that many 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. So this one can be pretty fun. You basically would either want to draw a ton of cards first and then make a bunch of zombies, or basically just make sure everybody discards their hand. And then you're at a huge advantage probably because your deck is probably centered around that. Like Hellbent decks would be really nice with. Hope to get those top decks. But if you have stuff in your graveyard, like Faithless Looting, where you can... Faithless Looting wouldn't help here, never mind. If you have cards that basically allow you to draw stuff from your graveyard, like Flashback or whatever, it could be pretty useful. And especially if you have a way to, like, just... I guess this is pretty much just to be slowing down the whole game, is where you discard their whole hand. You have something in your graveyard that allows you to destroy everything on the field, and then everybody's like, oh boy, no cards. No creatures. Oof. But yeah, it's an okay card. I wouldn't usually play this in a deck just because I usually do not like to do heavy control or whatever, but I can see how it could be fun if you are making that kind of deck. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.